I wake up the third day and holy smokes, most of everything I've experienced on carnivore happened by day three. I feel like I could see through walls, if that makes sense. I truly, I could just think, oh, is this what I'm supposed to be like? Because I feel really good.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our videos. If you'd like to support us some more, you can explore our homemade natural skincare products at purelytallow.com. Thank you so much for supporting my small business.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Carnivore Revolution. I'm Serena, and today my guest is Ray. You might know him as Carnivore Ray from Instagram, and he has kind of taken the Instagram carnivore world by storm lately. Ray, you have made a huge impact on people's lives. Your videos are so great, and I really just appreciate you taking the time today.
You make me sound a lot better than I am. Yeah, I'm humbled to be here. I'm a huge fan of you, Serena.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I want to talk about your story. I like to start there, and then we'll get into all the other fun stuff. But I like to start with your story because that's how people decide whether or not they're going to watch this video, and they need to know whether or not it's worth it. So let's start with where you were and how far you've come.
Yeah. So before carnivore, 295 pounds. Funny enough, that's not why I started carnivore. July 2023, I had 2 months of just brain fog. And I've always thought that brain fog was nonsense. You know, anybody that says, "Oh, I've got brain fog," no, you don't. Just focus. Well, I've got a little bit more empathy for those that claim the brain fog. Just looking back, my brain was foggy. I couldn't think.
Yeah.
And so I just saw a clip of, Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson talking about it. And Joe's saying how mentally sharp he felt and, talks about losing a little bit of weight. Same with Jordan Peterson, talks about, severe depression going away, which is something I battled from a very early age.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, I really respect Jordan Peterson. This diet sounds absolutely ridiculous.
It's true.
Surely it's not healthy, but if he's talking about it on one of the largest, if not the largest platforms that somebody could, I'll at least try it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I'd stick to it. I really didn't. I figured it'd be another diet I did for 2 days maybe, and then get some ice cream or something. Anyways, days 1 and 2 didn't feel any different. Didn't feel bad. Didn't feel good, but I just felt normal. Wasn't even eating clean food. It was a bunch of processed meat, and I had a bunch of processed cheese. I was eating a lot of egg whites for some reason. I think it's because that's what
we think we're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what I had in my fridge that was left over. But the third day, I wake up the third day, and holy smokes, most of everything I've experienced on carnivore happened by day 3. And just to run through what I experienced, the brain fog. Wake up and I feel like I could see through walls, if that makes sense. I truly, I could just think, oh, is this what I'm supposed to be like? Because I feel really good. I feel like I just took some kind of pill that is giving me like an extra
something.
An extra something. And I felt skinny. I wasn't skinny, but I felt skinny, which is huge. If you've ever been overweight or you are overweight, to feel skinny, to not feel, just uncomfortable in your clothes, it's a liberating feeling. I'd probably lost a few pounds, water weight probably.
Sure.
But I lost a few pounds, felt great. My mood, so the mental health. So I've taken antidepressants and I've found them to be very beneficial. They've worked for me, SSRIs, and got to a point where I came off them, and lo and behold, you go back to that same headspace. At least that was my experience. I found that any problem that arose in life, it wasn't a problem. If there was a problem, I could fix it. If I couldn't fix it, I'm not worried about it. But just the mood change, it was just so drastic. And why that's not crazy, and why that I don't attribute that to, just weight loss, is I've been fit before. So yes, I was 295 at this point, but my fittest, I was 212, 8% body fat, lean, strong, had abs. I'm where I'm at right now. That's where I was prior, and eating a well-balanced diet. I had 40% carbs, 40% protein, and 20% fat, because fat's bad for you. And it was just so drastically different, because the previous time that I was at this stage was one of the worst times in my life. And depression doesn't mean that life's bad or that there's bad things going on. It's mental. And for some folks, it's chemical or your gut. And that's what it was for me. And so, anyways, my knee pain. I've had knee pain for over a decade. Had surgery at 14 years old, had 60% of my meniscus removed,
Wow.
which is probably the best thing that could be torn or taken out of your knee. But for whatever reason, that day on, from when I was able to come off crutches, I just had stabbing knee pain. Some days it was okay. Other days it was horrible. And by this third day, I don't have any knee pain. Okay, that's weird. That's coincidence or what's causing that? Lo and behold, inflammation. When you're eating all these junk foods, and for a lot of people, vegetables even, just it causes inflammation in their body that shouldn't be there.
That's right.
And so for my mental health to be so good, my mental clarity to be so good, what I used to get done in a day for work, I started having done by noon, by 11,
Amazing.
a lot of the time. But every day by noon, I have what I used to finish in a day. It's done by noon. And then for my knee pain to go away, which I figured, hey, this is just early onset arthritis. And again, it wasn't the weight loss because I was just as fluffy the third day as I was the first day.
But it feels possible at that point, right?
It does. It feels so possible. Anyways, for that to go away, and for me to have prior to that just accepted that this is what I'll deal with for the rest of my life. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, and that's just life. And probably the biggest thing that I've learned or experienced on Carnivore, that most of what people feel, even seemingly healthy people, I go to lunch with friends. We all eat a big meal, myself included. I eat probably the most of anybody, and instantly, oh, I ate too much. Oh, nap time. Oh, acid reflux. And these are things that people just associate with normal. Oh, I'm cranky or groggy throughout the day, or I just don't have the energy throughout the day, and that's just normal life. That's not normal.
Yeah,
that's not how humans are supposed to feel, and most people just accept it as that's just a part of life. I don't think it's supposed to be that way.
definitely not. So how much weight have you lost now total? It's been 8 months. Is that right?
9 months.
9 months?
9 months.
Okay.
August, what are we, May? Yeah, 9 months. 9 months.
Mhm.
90 pounds. I've lost 90 pounds, which
90 pounds.
is a lot of weight. But to make it even crazier is that most of that was the first 2 months. So I think I lost 65, maybe 70 pounds the first 2.5 months, which is wild.
Crazy.
It's a lot of weight. Now I work out, so that definitely helps with
Sure.
that. It's not 100% carnivore, but carnivore played a huge role. I'm a huge believer that you lose weight in the kitchen and you sculpt your body in the gym.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that 100% too. So what kind of workouts are you doing? Because a lot of people that come to this have, injuries or issues like the inflammation and things like that keep them from being able to do like serious workouts. But a lot of people can just walk. I mean, walking is enough for a lot of people. So what kind of workouts do you do?
Yeah. So me personally, I love to lift weights. I've always been a gym guy ever since freshman year of high school.
Okay.
And so love to lift weights. But for cardio, I think most people's brain goes to, okay, if you want to lose weight, you gotta do a bunch of cardio. That's not true at all. I would warm up on a treadmill. I'd walk for 20 minutes. I'd do 3 minutes and 2 minutes flat, 3 minutes incline, 2 minutes flat. Not at some crazy speed. I think when I first started, every time I just did what I could. And when I first started, my speed was 2.5 miles per hour. It is not very fast on a treadmill.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
yeah.
Whatever it takes, right?
But it truly, whatever it takes. And now I definitely go a lot faster when I'm walking just because I'm able to. But as far as workouts, whatever being active is for somebody, whatever that means to somebody, whether it's playing pickleball or, walking in the evenings or walking in the mornings, just moving around. We're not created to just do what we're doing currently, and that's sitting all day.
Yeah, absolutely. So how strict have you been on this carnivore diet? How strict have you been? Do you ever eat vegetables? Do you ever eat sugar?
I haven't cheated once since starting.
Oh, really?
Sounds nuts, but I think I'm a very lucky I'm an anomaly. I have loved every meal. I swear, every meal after, I love it even more. So by the third day,
Amazing.
I had cravings. So it wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't like it was, oh, I was so disciplined and I just, I just fought off the sweets cravings.
Yeah.
I didn't. And it's almost like being in a relationship when you're married or you have a significant other, right? It's not that every other human being in the world all of a sudden becomes butt ugly. I can look at a pizza and go, oh, I bet that tastes good,
Right.
but it's not a desire. Like I'm good with what I have. I
Mhm.
really thoroughly enjoy what I have.
That's amazing.
That's just how it's been for me.
That's awesome. So you talked about the third day, like waking up and realizing like you feel different, you feel better. But aside from that, was the transition hard for you, like to go from being an omnivore, basically, which people say is what humans are supposed to be, but I disagree with that. So being a carnivore, was that going through that transition? Was that something that was hard? Like, did you ever waver?
That's a good question. Most folks do. Most folks absolutely do. I really didn't, and I attribute that just to luck. I will say, I think the hardest thing was that I have a lot of friends in the medical community, whether doctors, nurses, surgeons, whatever. Was just this constant, what you're doing is bad, what you're doing is bad, what you're doing is bad. That's not healthy. And 2 months into this, 3 months into this, I've lost 70, 75 pounds, and none of them, none of them said anything when I was 295 eating 2 pints of ice cream. They would give me their leftover food.
That's what I was going to say. They would give you
And
more.
yeah, it's like, look, I'm all for friends and loved ones challenging me. I think that's good. I think it's healthy. I think anybody that wants to be a really good version of themselves, you ought to have people around you that will push back on things that, even if they're in the wrong or you just disagree, I think it's good for folks to push back,
Mhm.
except when they don't have a leg to stand on. If any one of them had, encouraged me or just sat me down and said, hey, Ray, you've let yourself go the last couple of years, they would have so much more weight when they're talking in my ear. But now it's like,
Yeah.
really? And what's even more comical, many of them have since come to me and said, okay, if I were to do this, how would I start? What does it look
Mhm.
like? And
Yeah.
yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
my day to day life. I feel fantastic. They can't all say that.
Yeah. That's true. And I think we talked off camera a little bit before we started about this. Like, I think the hardest part, because, we were talking about like the social media backlash and things like that. Like, everybody's got something to say. And meanwhile, I feel better than I've ever felt. You feel better than you've ever felt. But we can't save everybody, right? There's always going to be those people that want to argue about it. And so, how do you handle that? Like, do you talk about that with your family and your friends? Like, do you guys really get into it? Do you talk about how you feel? And especially like if they're sick all the time, like I know people that are sick all the time and I want to help them, but they won't let me.
Yeah. Cut. Great question. Couple things. First, I constantly remind myself that I don't give a rip. Like I really don't give a
I
rip.
think I read that somewhere that you don't give a rip. Where did I hear that about you?
If somebody wants to do something, do it. And if I want to do something, if I'm not causing harm to somebody else,
Right.
whatever I'm doing, by all means, I'm going to do it. And I view that for everybody else too, even if it's something that I completely disagree with. If they're not hurting somebody else, do your thing. It's your life. Steward it however you want to steward it, whether that's
Yeah.
good or bad. And so I'm also not afraid of confrontation. I think confrontation is good. I think in the right timing and right setting, confrontation is a healthy thing. And so most of them have backed down. There's one or two that still, anytime we see them, and despite me talking about carnivore on social media all the time, I'm not somebody that's just in every single conversation, hey, have you heard about carnivore? I'm not that person. If somebody wants to ask me questions or bring it up or pick my brain, by all means, but I'm not, this isn't my whole life. Anyways, kind of similar to those that, hey, you didn't say anything when I was unhealthy. You don't have the right to say anything now.
Yeah.
If you're eating Chick-fil-A for breakfast every day, or if you're drinking, a pack of White Claws every other day, don't ever try to give me health advice. practice what you're preaching a little bit, and then come at me and we'll have a cordial conversation. But if people are pushing back, at the end of the day, that's going to happen. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be perfect Jesus Christ, and people are still not going to agree with what you're doing. And so that's just kind of my view. If they disagree, that's okay. I know that my life has improved. My quality of life has improved. I know that I've never felt this good in my life ever. If they disagree with it, they can sit and steward, or they can sit and stew on that and be bitter. It's not going to affect me. My life's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went through that transition so fast with losing so much weight so fast. So what does that feel like to be you? Do you still see yourself the way you saw yourself last August?
Great question. Body, I think they call it body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
It is a very real thing. Because I was fat, then I got fit, then I got fat again. Now I'm fit again. And that's Ray Hicks. That's Carnivore Ray. I was 315 pounds in high school. I was very strong. I used to squat over 500 pounds. Definitely was not all muscle. I was a ball of soda. I was a ball of soda. And anyways, once football ended, I just figured, unless you're getting paid, nobody needs to be over 300 pounds. And so slowly started chipping at the weight, was working out twice a day, 2 hours a day, or 2 hours each time at the gym. So 4 hours a day. And just 20 pounds here, 20 pounds there. And, got down to that at 212 and thought I felt great. And I did, in comparison to what I was before. And then just through life and just not caring about myself enough. Yeah. Again, I went from 212, my low point, to 295. And then now I'm at 205. And so when I see myself, when I see pictures of myself, when I see videos of myself, I have to do double take, because I still don't recognize that guy. Even the guy that I look at in the mirror. Shoot, even before this, I was changing my shirt, getting out of my work attire. I thought to myself, I'm a little chubby today, which is nuts. And then somebody shows me a video of me standing next to somebody, and I'm like, that guy's jacked. Who is that guy? But it was the same way the last time I lost the weight too. And so that view of ourselves, people tend to fall in one of two camps. They think really, really highly of themselves, or they think so poorly of themselves. And there's a few folks that are really good at just, hey, they have true self-awareness. They know exactly how it is. I fall in the, I've got a low view of myself 9 times out of 10. So it's tough, but it's not something I'm struggling with. That, I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, I'm a fatty all day. It's just in little moments that I'm reminded I'm a completely different person.
You are. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. And it's so hard to change those opinions that we already had of ourselves for however many years. It's really hard to walk past yourself in a mirror and then be like, oh, wait a minute, is that me? Like, I hear a lot of people say that, like, you just almost don't recognize yourself sometimes. And I don't know if that's good or bad, I guess, but you go through all that work, you go through so much change. It'd be nice to recognize it yourself sometimes too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And I think it can be good and bad. We're constantly evolving. Good or bad. We're doing this or this, and that's life. So when we look in the mirror and see that change, did we, just have months of good stewardship or months of bad stewardship? It'll be good or bad change, but we will change.
So for somebody who doesn't see all your videos, who maybe hasn't seen you yet on Instagram and seen your meal videos and stuff, what does a typical day of eating look like for you right now?
A typical day. I wake up. I'm an early riser. I get up at 4 a.m.
Do you really?
I do.
4?
4 a.m. Yeah.
Wow, that's really early, right? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I love it. I get stressed throughout the day. If I sleep in, or just if I don't steward time well, then I feel like I'm playing catch up all day. And it just
That's awesome. And good for you.
If I don't exhaust myself throughout the day, I'll have trouble going to sleep at night. Yeah. So it's really good motivation. Everything that I'm doing, be very intentional, do it well. Yeah. I'm not a psychopath, I promise.
Okay, so up at 4.
I wake up at 4 a.m., go to the gym. I'll usually be home by 6. I will I drink coffee on Carnivore. I love it. I went a period of time. I didn't feel better. I didn't feel worse, but I like the taste of coffee. If you're cold, it warms you up, and just, it tastes great. Anyways, I will have anywhere between 6 to 12 eggs in the morning for breakfast. And that just depends on what I'm having with it. So 9 times out of 10, I have some kind of meat with it, whether it's a ribeye steak, usually pound and a half for ribeye, or just a big bowl of ground beef and scrambled eggs. Oh my goodness. I love ribeye steak, ground beef and eggs. I think hands down, that's my favorite meal. It's true. It's just so simple. It's almost like comfort food.
Yeah, it's really good.
Anyways, that's breakfast. I'll go to the office. I usually don't get hungry till maybe 2, 3 in the afternoon. I'll pack a thing of ground beef with me. Sometimes I just wait till I get home. And late days in the office, that's 7 p.m. I might have more eggs. I might have more ground beef. I might have another steak. But those are hands down. Steak, ground beef, eggs. That is apart from butter and salt. That's my diet. And
so you're on a really kind of simple carnivore diet. Do you ever eat cheese and or heavy cream and things like that?
No cheese. And the reason I don't do that, because I remember doing research on the carnivore diet before starting. Some folks would say, hey, you can have cheese. Some would say you wouldn't. My deciding factor is that I know that I love milk. I know that I love cheese. I will very likely overindulge this. And so I just keep it out. And lo and behold, I don't miss it. I'm sure it still tastes great. I'm sure I'd still love it, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I like how just like cut and dry you are. Like, that's just how it is.
It's just who I am. But I have a dry personality. I think I'm funny. My friends think I'm funny, but I have a dry humor, and I see things very black and white most of the time.
So are you a reader? Do you read?
Sometimes.
Okay, well, this is the part where I ask about carnivore book recommendations. Do you have any of those? Because if not, we'll just skip it.
No. I haven't read any literature on carnivore.
Okay, well, I have some recommendations for you. We'll talk about it after. Okay. So if you had one piece of advice for people that are watching this, what would that be?
Just one?
No. If you had 3 pieces of advice, what would they be?
Okay, all right. I can do 3. Just start. Okay, it doesn't matter what time of day. Doesn't matter if it's Monday or Tuesday, or if you had a pound of chocolate cake for breakfast, or if it's dinner time. If you literally just said, okay, from right now, from this moment on, until I decide to stop, I'm just eating meat, eggs, and seafood. You would notice a drastic difference. Your body's not operating the same way that your brain does. Right. And so you don't have to wait till Monday morning to start. You don't have to wait till January 1st to start. You don't have to wait till after your birthday to start. If you just started, I'd bet 99% of people out there, if they did it strict for a month, they would look back and think, holy cow, I'm so grateful that I just started.
Yeah, that's true.
That's number 1. Number 2, don't stress it. It really is that simple. Meat, eggs, and seafood. I get questions constantly of what type of meat is okay, or do I have to fast, or ignore it. It's just meat, eggs, and seafood. If you're hungry, eat. If you're full, stop. It's incredibly hard, not impossible, but it's incredibly hard to consistently overeat and undereat. Most folks are a lot much likely to undereat than overeat. But
that's true.
If you do, I promise you're not going to do that forever. Your body will learn to listen to itself. You'll get really good at listening to your body. And then 3rd thing, salt. Just get a good salt. Use salt. That's a game changer. I remember in the beginning, there were a couple of times I was also working out very hard that I got lightheaded in the gym, which honestly, that's not some foreign thing to me. I've been lightheaded before, not on the carnivore diet, at the gym. And usually it's because I'm dehydrated or I don't have electrolytes in me. Get a good salt and an electrolyte if you're working out. I think that's a saving grace for a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. And people are so afraid of salt. And there's really nothing to fear. It's just like the fear of fat. Like, nothing wrong with those things that, that have been around for all these years. It's okay.
I remember I dated a gal for a bit who, I don't know if you've ever heard of POTS. and she was really big on salt. And I remember telling her, this was years ago, like, that's not healthy. You're not supposed to, have all this salt. And looking back, I'm like, Ray, you ding dong. Like she was miles ahead of the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Salt's good for you.
Yep. Salt's good for you. Well, that's awesome, Ray. I hope your story helps some people. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. I'm humbled to even just talk to you. I think you're incredible. I'm a big fan of you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining me. Thanks so much for making the time today. Oh, tell people where they can find you. I forgot. Tell people where they can find you.
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Carnivore Ray. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching, and be safe, be well, and eat some steak. I'll see you next time.